On the lands of the Lakota tribe, the people were suffering through a terrible drought. The rivers had dried up, the grasslands turned to dust, and the hunters returned empty-handed. The children cried from hunger, and the elders prayed day and night, hoping the spirits would come to their aid. One day, as the sun reached its peak, a woman dressed in a white robe appeared on the horizon. Her skin glowed like moonlight, and in her hands, she carried a sacred pipe. She introduced herself as White Buffalo Woman, a messenger sent by Mother Earth. She spoke to the Lakota people. "I will teach you how to live in harmony with nature, to respect life and the land. If you follow my guidance, the earth will flourish again, and the rivers will flow." She taught them how to pray with the pipe, how to communicate with animals, and how to grow corn and beans. She also gifted them a sacred white buffalo hide, a symbol of peace and prosperity. The Lakota people were filled with gratitude and revered her as a divine being. Meanwhile, deep in the northern forests, a giant named Paul Bunyan was fast asleep. He was as tall as a mountain, his breath could stir up fierce winds, and his footsteps shook the earth. Paul was the guardian of nature, tasked with protecting the forests and the animals from human destruction. One day, a strange noise woke him from his slumber. He opened his eyes to find loggers at the edge of the forest, cutting down ancient trees, driving away the animals, and polluting the rivers. Paul rose to his full height, his voice booming like thunder. "Why are you destroying this land? Don't you know the forest is the source of life, and the animals are our brothers and sisters?" The loggers fled in terror, but Paul knew he couldn't stop human greed alone. He needed someone who could speak to the hearts of people. White Buffalo Woman heard Paul's call across the lands of the Lakota. Riding her sacred white buffalo, she traveled through the grasslands and forests until she stood before the giant. Paul looked down at the small figure before him and asked, "Who are you? How can you hear my call?" White Buffalo Woman smiled gently. "I am White Buffalo Woman, a messenger of Mother Earth. I have heard your pain and seen the greed of humans. We must work together to teach them how to live in harmony with nature." Paul nodded. "I will join you, but human greed is like a bottomless pit. How can we change them?" White Buffalo Woman raised her sacred pipe. "With wisdom and love, I will teach them to respect life, and you will use your strength to protect the land." White Buffalo Woman and Paul began their mission. She traveled from tribe to tribe, teaching people how to farm, pray, and live in harmony with animals. She told them, "The earth is our mother. We must cherish her." Meanwhile, Paul patrolled the forests, using his strength to stop those who harmed nature. With his mighty axe, he carved new rivers, bringing life back to the dry land. He also built massive bridges from trees, helping animals cross to safety. Years later, the land was restored to its former glory. The rivers ran clear, the grasslands flourished, and the forests grew thick and green. The Lakota and other tribes learned to respect nature, living in peace with the animals and the land. White Buffalo Woman completed her mission and transformed into a gentle breeze, disappearing into the sky. Paul returned to the depths of the forest, continuing to guard the land. His presence lingered in the stories of the people, a symbol of the power of nature.